Hello, you beautiful creatures! Welcome back to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys for some LCK rankings after Week 3 action. Every team's still playing 2 best ofs on any given week, and even though a couple of bottom place teams did pick up some wins, they're still at the bottom. And even though APK, they had that head-to-head win against KT Rolster, I'm sorry, I gotta put higher praise on KT taking down a legit team in the Africa Freaks, or seemingly legit, so they do still edge them out, and I mean just barely edge them out for that number 9 spot.
And this is almost unfair here. For all the handful of APK Prince fans out there, I feel really...
Handful? Half a handful, maybe.
Okay. I felt, whoa, I was feeling pretty generous with how I was going. I feel sorry for you guys here falling in at number 10 again. I thought this would be the week that you could have that little bit of that slice of pie going, hey guys, we weren't always number 10.
KT squeaked it out.
KT find a way to stab you in the back and get that victory over the Africa Freaks. Yes, the quality of that victory. We still need to see how Africa Freaks rebound from that type of thing. But as of right now, KT, you're sitting at number 9.
And they both look like clearly the bottom 2 teams. They might just be fighting for those 9-10 spots going forward. Griffin had a rough 0-2 week. Tarzan continues to look a little bit questionable. Sword continues to look like the 11th best top laner in Korea. No. And Viper is wondering why he didn't join the Hens on Hanwha Life.
It's becoming a time here where I'm going to soon wonder when Sword is going to make his way over to the LCS with this level of play.
I don't. Oh, someone will sign him. Immortals, when Soaz decides to go back. Sandbox moves up a spot because they had that series win against Damwon. Even though they're still a spot behind them, they had that 2-0 win against them. That's enough to rise them up to that number 7 spot. And Damwon, we're just still waiting for this team to look like they did in 2019. And they were inconsistent in the regular seasons last year, but not quite to this degree.
No, and not nearly to the level of kind of when you're watching these games to see how poorly they actually have performed in some of these and how poor some of the decision making is for these Damwon squads. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks here. I think Showmaker does need to deliver better performances on the whole here for this squad, as it was been known about Damwon for a long time here. It's going to matter on how the solo lanes are doing. Is Nagari popping off? Is Showmaker popping off? If the answer to both of those is no, you're pretty much losing this game here. And that has really been the story through the beginning here, is that Showmaker hasn't really been the carry aside from maybe 1 or 2 weeks here out of this split that we've seen. And then even the top side, Nagari has been incredibly inconsistent, even for Nagari's standards, as we know how coin flip he can be at certain times here. We've seen the elite level of skill, attack speed rise, ending the game. And we've seen a couple of, more than a couple ints in that top side.
It doesn't quite seem like it's 50-50 anymore. It's more 35-65, you're going to get that pop-off performance. Maybe Ghost coming in will help the team, and I'm still perplexed why Beryl isn't starting more, if there's issues behind the scenes or whatever, because Beryl was starting the majority of 2019 and clearly looked like the better starting support. But for now, Damwon is in at number 6. And the top 5, it's the same top 5 from last week, just in a little bit of a different order. And Hanwha has looked better in their 3 wins than Damwon has, and they've had some more statement wins. Africa, the lowest of those couple of 4-2 squads, and that's what happens when you drop a game to KT, but it's still not enough to take them out of the top 4.
No, still not enough. Given the strength that we've seen also with Hanwha that, yes, we've given them praise for being willing to take a couple more risks in draft than we've seen from the usual LCK teams, but it almost seems like kind of arriving at some of these draft and compositions almost by pure luck in the way that they're getting towards these things. Doesn't seem any real reason for it, so can't give them too much credit. But when you're getting towards this top area here of the LCK, when you're looking at that top 3, it is juicy, and oh boy, it feels bad for Dragon X having to go up against these squads here this week.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule, and that's why they're down 2 spots out of that first place. Is you go up against T1, you go up against Gen G. You win one of those series, maybe you can say, you know what, still believe that they're going to be there. And to their credit, they went to 3 games in both of these series, and the games that they did win were pretty big stomps in their favor. But T1 and Gen G both coming away with the wins. And now T1 has handed both of them some of their only losses, and that's why they're coming in as top dogs.
Yeah, well, I mean, DRX really should have found a way to close out that series against T1, of course. I think that Game 3, Deft might want a little bit of a redo on a couple things in that one. But really, it is the sign of strength here for T1 when you're able to take down one of these squads here. You get the full credit for that one. They are our top dogs sitting at the very top of the standings. And when you've looked at the performances here, Cuz has stepped right into where Clid was and filled that gap absolutely perfectly, delivering strong Gragas performances here for the T1 side. And then, of course, one of the big questions was going to be in that top side, let alone who is even playing in that top side.
No questions anymore. Who's playing at least?
Absolutely right now. The starter for every series has to be Canna right now with the way that he's played. I think that his performance, let alone mechanically, has been fantastic. The way that he has played around the team and the objectives here for T1 has been brilliant and not something you would expect from someone with as little on-stage experience that he has. This has really been kind of that early surprise here in the spring split, let alone for the rest of the LCK, specifically for T1 to see him look this polished this early on.
And for Gen G, I don't think there's much of a gap between them and T1. As you saw in their best of 3 series, they've lived up to the hype that was set on them. Winners of the offseason in the LCK. We're still only 3 weeks into the split. But BDD has again looked like a top-tier mid laner. Ruler is Ruler. Clid hasn't missed much of a beat. He was still playing at a very similar level to what we saw on SKT or now T1. So Gen G, T1, and Dragon X all look like they could still take home the crown.
Right, and the best thing about that right now is when you're looking at this, yes, T1 we have sitting at the top of the power rankings above these squads, and yes, T1 has the head-to-head matchup win early on, but this is, of course, you're going to get the rematches here, and that is the big one when you're looking at them. They did not look anywhere as completely one-sided here, and I don't think that with the improvements you can expect for these rosters, I don't think that even the rematches are going to be guaranteed here for T1, and that is an exciting time here for an LCK fan.
And T1 did go 2-0, and I'll say it wasn't a great week for Faker in either of the series, really, which is, I mean, you could draw it as a positive testament to T1 because Teddy has been incredible, maybe the best he's looked on T1. Kana has immediately stepped into that starting role, and Cuz is playing at a level pretty similar to Clid, so be excited as a T1 fan. That is all the time today for League on Lock. Eric and Mark with you guys as always. Catch you on the flippity flop.